Speaking of paradise, one of my favorite little local places, the Lewis and Clark Caverns State Park, was Montana's first state park. The area also spent almost 30 years as a national monument.
That was a long time ago, but the cave's history is rich, but only recently has that history been recognized. That recognition, this week in Fish and Wildlife.
This Week in Fish and Wildlife, sponsored by your local Montana Toyota dealers.
Thursday morning, time once again for This Week in Fish and Wildlife. We're on the road at Lewis and Clark Caverns State Park. We're at the visitors entrance to the cavern tour. Rhea Armstrong joining us this morning. Boy, this has been here for a long time, and now that's being recognized. Tell me a little bit about this new district designation for Lewis and Clark Caverns.
Yes, so in June of this year, we became registered on the National Register of Historic Places as a district, highlighting some of the buildings and structures that are in the park. And most of them were built by the Civilian Conservation Corps during the Depression era. This place is unique in not only is it buildings, but it's the exit trail on the cave, it's the road coming up, it's the culvert and the bridges that go with making that road, and then there's several buildings as well.
I think that's really interesting. Montana's first state park is Lewis and Clark Caverns, and now recognizing the history of that, just another interesting aspect of going into Montana State Park.
Correct. And so anybody who's a history buff basically could go to any portion of the park and see something that is historic. The very first building in the Montana State Park system was a stone latrine, and we still have that functioning and in use at our upper picnic area.
That's phenomenal. You mentioned the buildings, and that's usually what we think of in these designations. But again, you touched on it, the culvert, the water drainage system. If you mountain bike or hike through here, you get a chance to go underneath the tunnel down on the road down here.
Right. So we incorporated that granite Keystone Bridge as a part of our trail system, so you can actually go underneath it and use it up there. And things are really well preserved. So it's really neat to see how long all these things last.
What does that really mean for Lewis and Clark Caverns State Park, having this distinction and having this district designation? You
know, I think that our staff always knew and had that heartfelt connection to history, but I think that that's trying to expand it out to everyone. Come and it's not just the caverns, it's a lot of things here, and an appreciation for the engineering and that group of young men who came out to make it happen.
That's phenomenal. Rhea Armstrong joining us this morning. We're at Lewis and Clark Caverns State Park, Montana's first state park, and now recognized for the history that went into making that happen. Rhea, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's This Week in Fish and Wildlife.
This Week in Fish and Wildlife was brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Just as a reference, by the way, Lewis and Clark Caverns became a state park April 22nd, 1938, Montana's first state park, formally dedicated May 1941.
Wow.
Absolutely true.
This is fascinating. So many interesting bits
I
of
didn't realize.
information in there.
1908 was actually named a national monument. Then it was turned back over to the state in the early 30s. That's when it became a state park. But it was actually a national monument for a period of time.
If you haven't been to Lewis and Clark Caverns, you have to check it out.
And you saw the little tunnel in there. Go walk the little trail system out there. There's some beautiful trails to ride and walk around out at Lewis and Clark Caverns as well.
I love it.
Plus, the tour of the caverns is second
Plus
to
the
none.
tour of the caverns. Are they still doing the holiday
They
tours
still do the
when you do the candlelight
tours? Yep,
Oh,
that comes up
so
over
cool.
after it closes around the Christmas holiday.
Very, very cool.
Fun stuff.
Thank you for that, Chet. Nice work.
Yep.
It is time for a quick break. We're back in just a couple of moments. Stay right here. It's Montana This Morning.